Hello, Level 3 students and family. So this video, we're going to talk about how to properly half moon, forward and backwards, and you can use punches and kicks and blocks with it, okay? Half mooning is the way that we learn how to control our body weight and sort of curb our momentum when moving forward and backwards. It's one of the first things that we start our students on, our Tiny Tigers age group, which is 5 and 6, the children's age group, juniors, and adults. So it's a really important part of our system, and the better you get at it, the better foundation you're going to set for all the other movements that you're going to learn. So it's something easy to practice wherever you're at. You don't need a lot of supervision with it. You'll kind of feel if you're doing it right, and if not, then obviously your instructor will help you. So that's our job, right? Get you going on it. So a half moon stance is very much like a horse stance, except you have one foot that's a little bit forward and the other foot's a little bit back. So your feet aren't on the same plane. You have one in front, one in back. When you half moon, you actually make the shape of a half circle with your foot moving, and that's why we call it a half moon. The moon's a circle, half of the circle is half of the moon, so there you go, okay? Now, keep the feet flat when you're nice and still so you feel stable and your weight is evenly distributed, 50-50 on both legs, okay? Now, when I actually go to move, I'm going to use the ball of the moving foot, just behind the big toe, to lightly stay connected to the floor as I make that circular motion. I'll do the same thing again with the left foot. Here, when I go backwards, nothing changes. In and out, in and out. Now what's important is, I'll do this from the side, is after I finish moving, I don't want to have any residual energy sort of swaying forward. When I move, I don't want to leave my body behind and then make it catch up. I want my hips and shoulders to be in alignment, and I want everything to move with my feet and stop with my feet. That shows I have really good control over the momentum that builds up when we try to move forward and backwards in things like fighting for self-defense or any type of athletic-based motion either, okay? So here I go. So I'm starting in a left half moon stance. That means the left foot's in front. I'm going to half moon forward, use the ball of the foot to stay connected to the carpet, and make a nice smooth circular motion. Do the same thing backwards, both feet. If the circles are a little hard to do and you don't feel comfortable with those, you can actually make a half of a diamond shape. Okay, so like a zig and a zag, in and out. So the foot can go straight into the other foot, then straight out. This is oftentimes a lot easier to pick up because lines are a little bit easier to manage than circles at first. But eventually you want that nice circular, smooth motion to happen with your foot, okay? So when you get good at that, the next step is to actually add your punches. So what happens is you start using circular motion with the lower body and you start using linear motion with the upper body. Kempo is really well respected for the coordination ability of fighting in close. And that comes from really classical practicing motions like this. So we're going to use the circle of the legs and the line of the arm together. Okay? Now what I'm doing is I'm doing feet first, then hands second. Feet first, hands second. Feet first, hands second. Really great thing to do is to break it down in that kind of timing. Then things are easier to focus on one at a time. But eventually, you do want the motions to happen together so that everything can be nice and focused and technically sound while moving forward or backwards. So this is a classical training exercise that teaches you coordination, balance, and stability, okay? What it translates into in real self-defense is from your fighting stance. So if I want to move forward to throw a strike, or if I want to move backwards to get away, or even throw a strike, then I want to know that my body's going to move with my legs, and I'm not leaning and reaching. I'll be able to step and punch, and I can do that either direction without swinging, finding myself leaning off balance, and putting myself in a bad situation, okay? So that's half mooning. Half mooning with the punch. You can practice half mooning with your blocks. And of course, you can practice half mooning with kicking, which is just a little different. I'll start in my half moon stance. I won't actually half moon. I'll go from a half moon stance to a kick, then land forward in another half moon stance. So there's no actual half moon motion in between because your foot has to be responsible for kicking, okay? So practice that. If you have questions on it, see your instructor. But the better you get at that, the better your entire foundation is going to be, especially during your level 1 training. Have fun.